What's up, Sickle Cell Warriors? It's Dr.O and the grind never stops. After 6 years of constantly grinding in college, I finally got my doctorate degree in pharmacy from Northeastern University. Now, this is definitely one of my proudest accomplishments that I've ever achieved, but it was not easy. I pretty much want to talk about my journey towards getting a doctorate degree in pharmacy while living with sickle cell. I want to share some of my hardest struggles while having sickle cell disease and being in college. So hopefully other sickle cell warriors who may be in college can be inspired and learn a thing or two of how to navigate college while having sickle cell. Now, by far, the hardest thing about having sickle cell while studying in college is basically studying while you're sick. Being a sickle cell warrior, I've learned to have to keep pushing myself, keep advancing, no matter how hard times may be. And those times were very depressing, honestly. I wasn't necessarily depressed, but the moments of when I was going through sickle cell crises were depressing because I would be in my college dorm all by myself. And the crises weren't really bad, but they were bad enough to not make me really want to study and just kind of question myself, my mental health and how I'm really feeling. But when you're in college, it's tough because your friends are having a good time. Sometimes when it's just late at night and you're just going through the pain, it sucks. And because I'm so persistent and so dedicated to working hard consistently, I avoided every means possible to go to the hospital. Even if it was kind of getting there, I didn't want to go to the hospital because for me, I knew if I went to the hospital, I was gonna miss a lot of days of being able to study consistently and study enough to do well in school. And not only that, sometimes if I went to the hospital, I could possibly have missed some school exams. And so, no, I can't have that. And Northeastern, their school administration is very ruthless. They're not really understanding towards a lot of people's needs. And they almost kicked me out for not performing well enough on my school grades, even though it was due to not having enough time to study for exams because of my sickle cell crisis and pains. And honestly, I might make a whole nother video on that because I went through a lot to get to where I was today. And despite me having sickle cell, the school administration was not very empathetic towards my disease and were still trying to kick me out of the school. But who cares? Look at where I am today. I'm blessed and I'm a pharmacist, and that just kind of shows to you that you shouldn't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do something regardless of what they say. Another difficult thing that I struggled with in college and while having sickle cell was playing basketball with friends. Being a young black male, I love basketball. I love the NBA and I love playing basketball. And for me, I know if I didn't have sickle cell, I'm not saying I'm going to the NBA or I'll be like a college athlete. I just love the grind, and I wish I could grind just as hard as I do with all aspects of my life, whether it be studying or making YouTube videos or working in a job. And I wish I could apply that same energy to basketball. I think it's exhilarating to work hard and do the suicide and the scrimmages and just have that team feeling, that camaraderie feeling of working towards a common goal. Honestly, that's something I always wanted to experience. And so I play basketball often, and oftentimes after an hour or so, or sometimes it'd be less than that, I will find myself very tired and I would have to remove myself in the middle of the game, which is not really a common thing. If you're familiar with pickup basketball, most of the time you take your break after the game is done. Sometimes I would score the ball and then I'd just be like, I'm tired, and I would just have to head off the road. And then to make it worse, because I didn't want to tell people I had sickle cell, I would say, my asthma's acting up, and I would just start breathing real hard and taking a break, which was honestly embarrassing and kind of frustrating, but it's the reality of having sickle cell. Another thing that was extremely difficult for me was accepting the fact that I needed the Disability Resource Center. Now, most colleges should have a resource center for people with disabilities. It's not just dedicated specifically for people with sickle cell, it's for people with all types of chronic illnesses. And my first 2 years of college, I was struggling a bit to do well, because when I was taking exams, oftentimes I would need extra time. And I was told that there may be a correlation between me having sickle cell and me taking a longer time to finish my exams, because every time I was doing an exam, honestly, I was one of the last ones to finish. And I would always look at everybody, I'm like, damn, you're done. Damn, he's done. And it'll make me feel a little dumb, honestly. But I learned that because of sickle cell, sometimes it may take me a little bit longer to complete certain tasks. This gives me the ability to use the Disability Resource Center. But honestly, I did not want to use that because I was too frustrated and too embarrassed to admit that I had sickle cell. And so nearly for 2 years, I just went about avoiding them, because I felt like by using the Disability Resource Center, I was admitting that sickle cell was beating me. And I have this weird psychological internal battle where I don't want to feel like sickle cell is beating me. I was avoiding the Disability Resource Center. And also, when I was younger, I was a lot more prideful. I was kind of the type of person who was like, I don't need your help. I don't need her help. I can do everything by myself. And as you grow older, you really start to learn that you can't do everything by yourself. I came to terms that I did need the Disability Resource Center, and they were very helpful. They provided me with all types of accommodations, and these accommodations are actually really good if you're in college, because if you're in college, you know the struggle. So these accommodations included housing with air conditioner, scholarship money. There was often times where they would give me a couple $1,000s just for being affiliated with them, because they didn't know who else to give that money to. So I was not complaining. And then by far the most useful accommodation they gave me was extra time for my exams. By having extra time for all my exams, that gave me the ability to take my time to be more calm and focused when taking my exam, because I knew I had a lot more time to answer the questions. So those were the 3 things that I found personally very difficult with having sickle cell while being in college. Obviously there was a lot more, but those were the 3 main ones. I didn't want to make this video any longer than it needed to be, which were studying while I was being sick, playing basketball with my friends, and accepting the fact that I needed a Disability Resource Center. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were inspired and you learned something new that you can hopefully use for your college or just for living with sickle cell in general. Remember to show Dr. O some love. Please subscribe, and once again, thank you for blessing me.